Just very proud of our guys. We beat a really good basketball team, a team that's been challenged already in the preseason. They've already played Purdue, Houston, and Michigan, and so we knew going into this game it was going to be tough, and we were going to have to compete for 40 minutes. And I'm just really proud of our guys for, making the plays they had to make down the stretch of the basketball game, considering we had a 15-point lead, and then they kept fighting like we knew they would, and made it, pretty much a tie ball game. And our guys made the plays they had to make at the end of that to win, and I'm happy for them.
I mean, I'm sure when you have a double-digit lead, you don't want to give that up. But knowing that you won the game, are there positives to be in situations like that? Because conference games may be like this.
Absolutely. That's what we expect in conference. That's why we play in the teams we're playing. There's not a team that's really on our schedule that we didn't feel would give us a challenge in some kind of way, whether it's a smaller team, small ball, whether it's big teams, whether it's on orthodox defenses like this team plays right here. We wanted to challenge ourselves. And, true road game, neutral site game, you look at our schedule, we have games across the board, but I think they all can help us. And tonight was a huge help for us because we're going against a great coach, great system, and our guys are going to need to make plays to win. And I thought they did. I was very proud of them because, you have a 15-point lead under 12 minutes to go in the game, and all of a sudden it evaporates. That can be a challenge. And we were on the other end of that just a few nights ago on the road ourselves, and we were able to come back and win. And so I thought our guys did a really good job when it got down to a tie ball game of making the plays they needed to make defensively and offensively.
Coach, you kind of touched up on the 15-point lead. Oakland went on a 15-3 run midway through the second half. I mean, what are the steps that you give the team and the messages that you give to stay in there and survive that run? And how do you look to avoid those for the future?
Well, we have to make sure it's going to be done on the defensive end. Period. I mean, you're going to have to get stops. I mean, when people are making runs, the only way you can stop them is to defend them and make them miss. And I thought we did it in timely, moments at the very end of the game. And that's when it's going to count the most. Our guys were at their best, and guys stepped up, made big free throws. Guys stepped up, made big stops, and that's what you have to do. And I'm really proud of them, like I said, for that effort.
And between the Texas A&M win and then this one against Oakland, just two down-to-the-wire gritty wins, what does that do for the confidence of the team?
Well, it's going to help us grow. I mean, having our guys be in these situations this early, we expect every conference game to be similar. I think it's great preparation for that. And playing against different systems, like I said, different styles, is also going to help us because different teams that we'll play in league, they'll have different styles. And so I want our guys to face different challenges, and I want us to understand how we can be successful. And I thought they did a good job of that today.
Coach, Oakland is a scrappy team. They're well coached. They got into some of their sets. How is it to be able to play an out-of-conference team early in the year just to kind of work on defense and different things that you want to see your club improve on?
Well, it's hugely important to face teams, like I said, that play unique systems, that are well coached, that they execute extremely well. I think it's good for our guys to see that and compete against it. One, because they're things that we want to clean up and get better at. Now you got examples of it from another team. Two, I mean, they have very talented players. So, going into the game, I had scouted a number of their guys, and I'm looking at them, I'm going, these guys are very impressive. So we're going to need to make sure that we, have a healthy respect for what they can do out there on the floor. And I think our guys have that respect for them because of what they were able to see them do.
Coach, JaMychal Stillwell tonight with that double-double. I mean, how important was he for this win?
He was huge. He was relentless. You're talking about 14 rebounds, 6 offensive. He was just relentless, and that's what we needed from him. And he and Themis both. I mean, I thought played really well. Oakland knocked them out of a conference tournament last year, so for them to get this win is really meaningful because they didn't get a chance to close out last year by making it to the NCAA. Oakland knocked them out, so. It was a great, win for us, but also I'm really happy for those guys to have an opportunity to kind of get a win against them.
picked up a couple technical fouls late in the first half there. Just what were you hearing there, and what can the guys learn from that situation going forward?
We have to control our emotions. We can't get lost in those things in the game. Get lost in the game. Don't get lost in all the antics around the game. And I think, we had a couple guys that got lost in some of the antics around the game, things that are happening that have nothing to do with us, defending or rebounding or making a shot. And those are things you need to get lost into. And so we're going to continue to work on that. We can't be picking up technical fouls like that. Those are personal fouls. They're technicals. And that doesn't represent, who we are as a program. And so that's not who we are. And so have them guys understand that what I want is I just want to play hard, play with class. And so that's what I'm looking forward to those guys doing because they're all capable of doing those things and they're terrific players.
Johnny Jamichael's been a double-doubles machine, during his time at Milwaukee. When you see what he did tonight, is that kind of what you'd like to see out of him for the rest of the season, is to kind of develop into that kind of player?
No, absolutely. I know every night's not going to be the same. I mean, this game is very, very competitive, and matchups, like I always say, styles makes fights. And so this system right here I thought was really good, and he was able to take advantage of some things he does very well. Some other nights he may not get 14 rebounds and 20 points, but he didn't do those things against Texas A&M. But he still helped us win that game as well, but he didn't have the same numbers. So I just want him to go out there and stay relentless, get lost in the fight of what we're doing out there on the court, which he does, and the numbers will just come based on who we're facing. But he always plays, he always has a winner spirit, and that's what I want to see him do every night. Just bring the winning spirit. Your numbers will vary, but just keep on leading and keep on, being all about winning.
Coach, you talked about Oakland's the head coach's length of tenure there at the school. Where did you see his experience and leadership show most in the game?
I just thought he did a really good job of coming out of timeouts with what they executed. I thought he did a good job. Came out of timeouts, switching up some of his defenses, which were really good, timely situations where we needed to score or we needed to stop. They come out with specials that he had to try to get a basket. So, no, I thought he did a good job, trying to, exploit, situations on the court. Just watching him, on the sideline. But that's what experience does for you. He's very experienced. He's been in these situations a million times. And I thought he did a good job.
We've seen through these early games how important shooting is to this team's offensive identity. But how critical was it to be able to see and feel a game where you don't shoot the ball particularly well and still find a way to get a win?
I'm not happy about the fact that we didn't shoot it well the way we think we're capable of. But I am, excited that we were able to still to find a way to win that, making shots the way we have, most of this, early part of the season. Because that's the reality of it, man. You're not going to shoot the ball great every night. None of us can. No team can. You have to understand what do you have to do to be successful when it's not going in for you. And so we'll have a lot of tape to be able to show our guys and watch things where we can talk about situations now where it wasn't shooting that got us to win. It was our ability to defend, get key stops, rebounds. And so those are things that we can build off of.
Kind of on that point, do you feel, maybe we're still making too much of the newness of this team, but do you feel as you guys get more games under your belt that this team is embracing the defense that you envision for them?
No, absolutely. I think they're embracing it. It's just a process of getting better at it. I thought tonight, this team did a really good job. They shot a good percentage from the field, from 2 and 3. And I thought we were kind of trending in the right direction after the last few games. And now we have to get better. We have to keep on moving forward. But the only way you can do that is to be in games like this, learn from them, and keep pushing their buttons to help us become a better defensive team.
What does it say about your depth when you just you look around, like the A&M game? It was Burks and Pacheco. Of course, Riley Kugler's been there all season. Tonight it's Jamichael with the big game offensively. You talked about this as one of the deepest teams you've had, and it's showing up through the first part of the season.
No, definitely, and that's what we want to be. We want to be a team that on any given night, any of these guys can step up and have their moment. And I want all our guys believing in themselves and their ability to do that because they can. The worst thing can happen for us is you have a night where some guys you're counting on not producing to their level, and no one else is ready to step up in those roles. I think this season we've had guys showing their willingness to step up when some guys may not have it going in a half or have it going in a certain game. And I want our guys to know that we believe in them so they can continue to do that, and not lose confidence because you may not be playing 30 minutes tonight. You may have only played 5 minutes tonight. But that doesn't mean you may not play 25 or 30 another night. Just be ready for your opportunity to help, and we'll control the minutes. You just be ready for your opportunities.
Coach, back-to-back wins now. What do you hope the team takes into a neutral site at Daytona and build on these wins?
Well, we have to be ready. I haven't seen Pitt play, but I know they're a talented team as well. We just need to take from these games that we've played that it's going 1-0. We're not worried about any game in the past. These games are over. We'll take the lessons we've learned from the games that we've competed against and try to get better the next time we go out in the court. We know we're going to face another tough test, well-coached team again, and we need to make sure our guys understand about getting their rest, and also just, mindset has to be, our mindset needs to be one in which we're focused solely on Pitt and not anything else that's around us. Just focus on what's in front of us and prepare for them.
I kind of want to follow up. You've got a win on the road, has some wins at home. Now, what kind of challenge does a neutral site bring? What do you hope the team benefits from?
I just hope we benefit. I just hope we benefit from now not having a home crowd, not having maybe a complete away crowd. We know it won't be probably, like it is here, of course. But I think our guys will benefit from just going to another arena, not at home, and competing against a team that's going to be very good. Because, you go to your conference tournament, that's going to be a neutral site. It's going to be a neutral site. So all these things are giving us, like a rehearsal for at the end of the season, these games and these situations. And so that's kind of how we're going to look at it.
Coach, you had Vandy get you from the three-point line there. You had Brett White get quite a few three-pointers off, and Brody and Robinson there ended up making a few as well. Just what do you think this team needs to do in order to kind of, to defend the three?
Have a better awareness on those guys that we talk about, in the scout and that we show on film. Having a better awareness of how they get open, what they're looking to do to get those shots off, and that's where we have to grow, and we will. I mean, some of these guys have never been in some of these positions before, and you guard in a different way. Maybe you played at another college. All these guys have transferred in, so they have different rules, different terminologies for what they're doing from what we do, and so their habits are still forming. Habits sometimes takes years, and you have these kids now for 9 months. So you're trying to, keep it as simple as possible while having an understanding of, okay, who are the awareness guys that you really need to make sure you have an eye on, and try to slow them down. And we have to continue to get better in that area.
Last question.
Speaking of growth, I remember last time we talked, you mentioned John Bull was a puppy, not a dog yet, but a puppy. But these last 2 games, he's really stepped up offensively, but he's gotten a bit of foul trouble. Just what have you seen from him over these past 2 games?
He's growing. He's getting better and better. Like we said, that's with experience, we expect him to improve because he just needs to be out there and gain experience. And sometimes it's tough because these guys they're playing against are juniors, seniors. A lot of them been playing a lot of minutes and starting a large part of their career. And here you go, your first time really getting extended minutes on the court. So they're ahead of you just with that experience. And so now for him, he needs to continue to go out there and just compete and play as hard as he can and learn from each one of these games, offensively and defensively, learn what he can do and how he can be successful. All right, guys, y'all have a good evening.
Right back in it, led for a second there. Just kind of what are the learning points from a game like this, allowing a team to get back in it, but still getting it out and pulling out the win?
Like Coach preached, a game never over nowadays. You can be up 20 or like 10 minutes left in the game. It's still a ball game, Can never give up.
What was Coach's message when Oakland went on that 15-3 run in the middle of the second half, and you guys had to kind of fight it out towards the end?
Yeah, we just had to fight it out. They started hitting shots late in the game. Number 10 had 4 or 5 threes, so he was knocking them shots down, getting them back to a close game. So we just had to buy in, lock in, and just finish the game out for real.
Right. I want to follow up. Congratulations on 1,000 career points. I mean, doing here at UCF in Orlando and having a game, 18 points. What does that mean to you?
I mean, it means a lot. I'm obviously thankful for it. I'm blessed. I'm humble for real. At the end of the day.
Jermichael got the double-double tonight there. Just what was working for you out there tonight?
I was just very aggressive, I feel like this game was personal to me, They kicked us out of the tournament last year, so I came in with an aggressive mindset.
Riley, I just wanted to ask you, there was some kind of chippiness out there tonight, especially with that tech that was thrown out. What were the emotions like out on the court against Oakland?
No emotions. I just got to do better.
Was there anything like specific that was said or anything? Or?
No, I just got to do better.
When you play a team like that that's scrappy this early in the season, how does that prepare you to win games and kind of see different looks and see a team, like you said, that you saw before? But talk a little bit about how this can prepare you.
It just come down to late game situations, We executed down the stretch. We got key stops. That's one thing. We got key stops, It was like they had like 2-3 possessions when they was only down 1 because we turned the ball over. But we got key stops on the other end.
Take us through just sealing the deal. They tried to fight back. They tried to cut the lead. They tried to come in and get one. but you guys weren't having it. Take us back to that part of the game.
Yeah, like you said, we wasn't having it for real. We wasn't going. At the end of the day, I mean, yeah, kudos to them. I just found out their coach was there for like 40-some years, but you know, they're obviously going to be well coached in that regard. They started running excellent plays down the stretch. We just had a buy-in, like I said, and really just gut it out.
Right, Riley, clearly 3-point shooting has become one of the staples of this team's offensive identity. Big part of the reason you guys won on Friday. But how important is it to know that you can get those defensive stops and gut out a game when the shots aren't falling?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot, you know, especially in this era of basketball. You know, your shot's not falling. What do you got to do? You got to play defense. So, I mean, I think our guys did a good job, you know, talking and, you know, just trying to get extra stops when we needed it the most. So I compliment all my teammates. Sorry, you know, we was up by 12, 14, but you know, we just gotta find a better way to close out the games and keep that margin higher.
I know, maybe we're still making too much of the newness of this team, but does it feel like you guys are buying in and understanding more of what Coach Dawkins is looking for defensively as you grow into the season?
Yeah. I mean, every day we're together, damn near. So I mean, you know, the having the ability to buy in and lock in every day during practice, and you know, just focusing on what's the one thing we need and the one goal in sight that we all are wanting to achieve is, you know, the biggest part in our season. So once you realize that and start, you know, just making the right, you know, plays and not turning the ball carelessly or getting tags, just things like that, miscellaneous stuff, we'd be good.
JaMychal, you had 6 offensive rebounds tonight and 16 as a team. How important is it to crash the glass like that to get those extra possessions?
You know, coach preach about hunting. You know, that's part of our EGBs. You know, he want everybody to crash. Actually, you know, I just, like I told you, like this game I was like more. I feel like I was more aggressive. You know, and I expect me to be like that every game for real.
So, yeah, to add on to that first double-double of the season, what went well for you tonight?
I feel like the touches around the rim, you know, I was able to get to my spot today. And I feel like I was actually like in the right spots to get the rebound today.
And to follow up, you guys had a big win at Texas A&M. Just what does that do for the confidence and now building on that with this win against Oakland, 2 in a row?
Like Coach said, they are equal as one. You know, we go 1-0 every game.
Yeah, you said a minute ago that this was personal. Obviously, you're familiar with Oakland, with the previous school you were at. Just kind of tell us about Horizon League basketball, because some people may just look at the name and not recognize it. They lost by 10 to number 1 Purdue a week or two ago, and you're very familiar with the league. How good are teams like Oakland?
No, teams like Oakland, it's just because of their coach. You know, they got a Hall of Fame coach, and he coached them well. You know, he run the same system every year, just different players who play just alike. So it's like, I feel like they well coached and like they're coached not to give up, and they scrappy. So it's like they're 3-point shooters and they kind of zone kind of like, you know, weird. So it's like, yeah.
Thank you guys.
Appreciate y'all.
Thank y'all.
Congrats on the 1,000, Riley.